This is Play PSVR 2, the podcast. Fathers, they've got Father's Day. Mothers, they've got Mother's Day. But what do people like myself who are single, what do we have? Palm Sunday. Welcome to the podcast, Alex. It's going to be an exciting episode. Not only are we reviewing Cosmodread, but we're talking June Days recap. We had some gold this week, and then there are so many game announcements. My shorts are full. I need to change my shorts because they are loaded down with just goodness.
I'm reeling from the joke. Also, my microphone just like plopped on me. So we'll go like that. There we go.
Wouldn't be the first time something plopped on you. You like that joke, huh? Because I couldn't think of a good Father's Day joke. I'm not a father. I don't have those jokes available yet.
Yeah, no. Did you think of that joke? Because that was pretty funny.
You like that?
That was pretty funny. Yeah, Palm Sunday.
Okay, you can eat a bean for that then.
Well, I gotta eat a bean because I like your joke. That's no fair. Anyways, I will eat a bean if you eat a bean because of what happened during June Days. Okay.
The thing is, here's the thing. Okay, on the 12th, I had the stream of my life, but
and then he started playing PSVR. He got done peeing, started playing PSVR.
I went to PSVR 2, opened up Puzzling Places. I picked the RAM. It was the repair and assembly module. And I put together a 100-piece puzzle. I had Spotify on. I was cruising. It was an incredible stream to see how the game worked. I built the RAM, the module outside, and then I went inside to put those pieces in. It was so cool to see it all come together. It was the best advertisement for that game known to man. And I get done, and Alex is like, hey, where's the stream? And I'm like, I streamed it, bro. It said broadcasting. No one joined, but it said broadcasting 40 minutes. It's not there. So today I go back, and I'm like, okay, maybe I did something wrong. So I streamed. So ultimately, the 12th, there isn't a stream, even though I did stream. Then today I went back, tried it again. You cannot stream Puzzling Places. I don't know you can't do it because I immediately quit, went to Saints and Sinners, began broadcasting it, immediately worked. Same settings, same everything. I don't know what's up. Why would that be blacklisted under YouTube or Sony's streaming or broadcasting services?
Well, Adam, I just want to say that one, I don't believe you. Two, if you wanted me to believe you, I need you to prove it that you did it. And it seems like there is no proof. And
look, you can see the RAM is 100% put together.
That tells me nothing about whether or not you streamed the game or even if you played the game in June. Here's the issue, Adam. The issue is that I think you knew you were going to be eating a bean for not streaming on June 12th, breaking our multi-year record of the most games any PSVR channel has played in a month consistently.
That is garbage. I streamed. I think we should get count. Today I streamed 2 games. That should make up for it. Before we go further, Alex, look at this. Look at this big old ball of green. I thought,
is that the stream?
Summer.
Is that what the stream of your life was? Filling that thing up?
No, I like to get wet and I like to get wild. So I made a cucumber aloe mocktail, no alcohol. So here's what I did. I cut up some cucumber. I blended it together with some lime juice, some aloe vera juice, a hint of ginger with a tad bit of sugar, some filtered water. And you blend that. Then you have to strain it to get only the goodness and the liquid inside. It's time to suck. I mean, look at that. Look at that presentation. It looks refreshing. It smells like cucumbers and lime.
That sounds not that great. Is it good?
Oh, it's dreadful. Oh, gosh. Oh, I thought that was too much lime. Oh.
It's dreadful.
Dude, I spent like 40 minutes making this. Oh no.
I think you're supposed to put sugar in it too, probably.
Oh, that's what the aloe juice is supposed to be. It has so much sugar in it.
It's aloe vera, cucumber, and lime. That sounds terrible.
It's bad. It's bad.
It's just... That's it. We're done. Close the podcast. I've had my evening. This is great.
Between Palm Sunday and me making maybe the worst drink I've had on here, not quite. I've had worse, but it's not good. I just have to drink one glass, right? I don't need to drink this whole thing to get credit, right? I'm drinking one glass. I'm not drinking this whole thing.
What are you going to do with the rest of it?
I guess I'm going to just start pouring sugar in it and hope I'm going to turn it into lemonade or limeade, I guess. I don't like it's not like it. I mean, it tastes like what it should. It tastes like a bunch of cucumbers with too much lime in it. I can't taste the aloe.
Why is it so milky?
I can't taste the ginger. I put honey in it too. Can't taste the honey. I don't know. Probably because I don't know, man. I stringed it. I don't know.
I'll give you a break because my gamer juice is weak this week. I got a new fridge and it has this autofill pitcher thing, and I just threw a bag of coffee in there and it made me iced coffee overnight, which is great. So that's what I'm mostly drinking is coffee from my tumbler, but I do have a sugar-free Red Bull that I have to drink to get through the night.
Why get it with sugar-free?
Why get it with sugar? I don't need the sugar.
Could you take more sugar from your Red Bull and put it in my cucumber aloe water?
The thing is, gonna help.
I had a cucumber aloe vera drink last week, and it was real good. That's where I got the idea, and I was like, "Oh, I can do that." So I did it. It doesn't taste anything like what I had last week. So either they lied about their ingredients, or they use sugar, and I didn't.
Yeah, look at the sugar content. Yeah, because I don't think.
I mean, they didn't give me the recipe. They were just like, it's aloe, cucumber, and then I tried to go off script, and I like that tang, that ginger, so I added some ginger. I can't taste it at all. Hey, people don't. I know they want to know about our drinking endeavors, but I want to move on because June days, I admit, you do get more enjoyment out of June days than I do. However, this week, I saw the magic with Puzzling Places. It was a game, if I'm being honest, Alex. I didn't have immediate plans to go back to it, really, ever. Not that I would avoid it, but just why play that when I have Pavlov and when I could go back to Resident Evil, or we're about ready to have Synapse and C-Smash, and the list goes on. So I don't know. I would not have gone back in it until I had to for June days because I'm starting to run out of games that are single player. I had, even though no one joined, even though the stream doesn't exist, I had such a freaking good time. I'm sitting there. I don't even like rap music. I just played whatever the heck Spotify told me, and I was listening to some Lil Wayne and some Kendrick Lamar and that other black guy who raps, and I'm putting together puzzles. A little Nas X or something. That's that's the other.
Old Town Road. Yeah.
No, it's not that. It wasn't that song. Anyhow, It was good, dude. I had a good time, and I was like, that is the essence of June days.
Yep.
Playing these games that you probably wouldn't otherwise, and appreciating them, man. Like, it's beautiful. And I'm gonna go ahead and continue to ramble because on the the other side of the coin, I also play games that solidify and validate my hatred for these games. Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. I hate it. I got in there. Here's what happened. The last time I played, I was in a level. I had to run out because I ran out of ammo. And so I found out. We talked about it. It's been like 2 months. You said, oh, hey, there's a recipe and you can make ammo. So I'm like, okay, well, in this stream, you can go back and look at it. I was like, okay, I'm going to go out just to collect stuff, bring it back, and make ammo. Well, guess what, Alex? One, you need recipes and you need stuff to open the recipe. The bigger problem is I have no ammo and I have no weapons because I used it all on that level. So I went to the last level I approached again to find nuts and bolts to open the recipe so I can make ammo. Guess what? I couldn't do it because there's enemies everywhere. There's nothing on the ground that I can pick up or an area I can access to pick up items to then return for nuts and bolts. So I was like, okay, let me go not to the last level. Let's go to like the very first level you go to. Less enemies, probably more forgiving. I don't have anything. I can't attack. You can't punch
You
them.
don't have an axe?
No.
Like I had an axe from the get-go, I thought. And also bottles on the ground, you can break them and use them as a knife.
I tried. They just bit me.
The bottles bit you?
The zombies, you butthole. Anyhow, I went to the very first stage. Guess what? Still zombies, and I can't find anything. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do to get a weapon or ammo because I need to pick up stuff to open the recipe to make the ammo, but I can't pick up anything to get the nuts and bolts for the recipe. It's too technical. It shouldn't be that hard. Give me an effing gun, make ammo either one, super simple to find, or don't have effing ammo. So at least freaking Arizona Sunshine did that well. Game sucked to high heavens, but I never ran out of ammo. I'm stuck. I deleted the game. I'm effing done with it. I rage quit. Game effing sucks. It should not be that difficult to play the game. How hard is it? Make a game that is easy to play and fun. Who finds that fun? You didn't because you didn't finish it.
I don't have time to finish it. I got to review so much crap that you're not getting around to, Adam. Here we go. Let's go through the list of the June Days games. And Adam, I am happy for you that you found comfort in Puzzling Places. I will say, I think you just sold me on what Puzzling Places is. It's a game that like I could put an audio book on and play and put together some puzzles. I can, activate half of my brain for this like manual activity of making a puzzle, and the other half focused on like an audiobook or music or something. That sounds like actually a really good time. And so I'm glad you mentioned that. But I played, so last game we left off was Tetris Effect. We talked about that to death. Walkabout Mini Golf. You and I played through the new Journey to the Center of the Earth map. How do you feel about that?
It wasn't my favorite map. The balls weren't as cleverly placed.
Yeah, they weren't hard to find at all.
No, I don't know why. The other DLCs were difficult to find. So I don't know. I give this one like a C rating in terms of the course.
I thought the course was pretty fun. I mean, I haven't played as many courses as you have, but I thought visually it was kind of like exciting to go through. Like you're slowly going through that cave to the center of the earth and you're like getting deeper and it's getting weirder and weirder until somehow you end up outside at the very end. But
see, I'm talking more about the holes were easy. I don't feel like they were as creative as some of the others. So
there was like the one where you got to like roll down the cliff, but I agree. A lot of them were just kind of simple, and it was just like you obviously have to go this way, and it's risky to go down the middle, and like that's about it. But we had a good time. We played with Shafe and Jay Brat and Nat Brat and stuff, and that was good. Did that session make you want to change your listing for where Walkabout Mini Golf lives on our pound for pound ranking?
I mean, it's pretty high up there. I think.
Yeah.
It's
number 5.
I think I'm happy, where it's at. I think that and Pavlov are honestly about interchangeable depending on gameplay
preference.
Likes. Yeah, preference. Yeah. So yeah, I'm okay with it. It's still good. I think they do playing that. We also played Poker Stars VR. Yeah. Playing Walkabout and playing Poker Stars made me appreciate Walkabout more because we played with Shafe Dog, Poker Stars VR. We had a good time. I had fun, but it wasn't the same. Like we had to make it fun for ourselves where Walkabout, there's already like a common interest or something is built there for you to automatically have fun. You don't need to try to have fun as much as poker. You had to go all in. you had to lose all your money and give it to me so I could take your mom out for a nice steak dinner. And
She's hungry. Yeah.
she was hungry, and that made it fun, but you had to take those risks. And Shafe had to know that he could shoot a Roman candle down my throat and in my crotch and pull out rubber duckies. And it was just, yeah, PokerStars VR was still worked very well. It was fun, but you definitely need to play with friends. And that made me appreciate, I think, Walkabout a little more because you just have a good time and you don't have to try to have a good time.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about PokerStars here in a bit. Next on the list, The Last Worker. This is a game that's obviously like a story-driven game, and it's a big dig at, Amazon and the working conditions of Amazon, which I get. There's kind of some commentary happening here. In this game, you're a guy that's on like this hovercraft, and you're the only human left working against all these robots, picking up packages out of a warehouse, dropping them off so they can get delivered. The controls were pretty good, and the story's kind of interesting. It might get a lot better if the story gets a lot better. I don't know. I played an hour of it, and I think it's maybe about 3 hours long. So we'll see how it goes, but nothing blowing me away yet. It has potential, but there's just nothing quite yet that has me super, super enthused about it compared to some of the other games we played this month. Did you enjoy my stream of Last Worker, Adam?
No, it was horrible. It was, gosh, this freaking cucumber. It's so strong. It's just like I'm sucking on a cucumber. Listen, you keep playing these new games, play the demo first and then stream it. No one wants to watch you play the demo. Like, no
you mean
one
like the
wants to do
tutorial?
that.
The tutorial? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, tutorial. I mean,
I barely have time for June days, much less playing games outside of June days, Adam.
play the first 15 minutes and then stream it. And
But
stream
people
for
are waiting.
45
They wanna
minutes
see.
rather than an hour.
Fair point. But
That
you're
game
wrong.
looks so boring. Like,
Here's my issue with these games, and I appreciate when a game tries to say something bigger, right? But when a game has a message, to me, the message that, ultra billionaires and mega corporations is bad is not a new message. So this is a game, and I'm playing the game, and it's telling me a story about how bad, Amazon is. And whether I agree or not about that message, it's not a new thing. You're not teaching me anything. You're just telling me something I've already heard.
Are you sure that really is the message?
Yeah, I mean they sent there's a water bottle in the game. Reviewers, I think JBrat got sent that water bottle from the developers, and if you open it up, there's a copy of an email that Amazon sent to their workers telling them how they're not allowed to take bathroom breaks or something. And so the Amazon workers were peeing in water bottles, and that's what the water bottle represents. So it's very obviously a game to discuss the horrible working conditions of working at like Amazon as a warehouse distribution employee and stuff like that. But
what a stupid way to push a political agenda. A VR game that like maybe 1,000 people are going to play.
That's my point, right? Like I don't think that it's bad to discuss these kind of things. I do think it kind of undermines your message, and it's a message that doesn't necessarily it's not a message nobody's heard before, right? So I don't know. It is more affecting sometimes to have these things. On the other side, you discussed Puzzling Places. The next game I played was Humanity, and that's a game that obviously has some message. I haven't played through it all, but it doesn't put it all out in front of you when you're playing it. And so there's like a meta narrative happening in the game as you're playing it, and you have these feelings about humans jumping off the edge, and you see the effort you're putting in. That's what I want to see in a message in a game. Humanity's so good. The stream wasn't great because I got stuck on one level that I was hell-bent on beating, and I didn't even beat it in the stream, but it was 45 minutes of me struggling with one level. But that's what happens with June days. Sometimes you get stuck, all right? And you just got to watch me play Humanity, and I have a cold, and I'm sniffling the whole time. But I do it for you, listeners and viewers, and that's what happens with June days. Humanity's so freaking good.
You wouldn't know. Will you stop trying to collect every effing Goldie? And you're never going to beat the game because you can't sit down and you can't beat a game. I've never seen anyone incapable. It's almost as if you don't want to beat these games.
I beat Red Matter, thank you very much.
Oh, great. Hour and a half long game. Congrats, Alex.
I beat Tentacular. I didn't beat Transformers.
What? It's so short. Whatever. Okay.
It's so short.
Game.
I don't want to play it anymore.
Humanity is real good. It's a must play. Great game. Great game. Okay. What's next?
Seeker My Shadow. Tell me about that.
Dude, I beat it. I beat it. I have been sitting on that one level for 2 hours, and it was Matthew Packard and it was Chaos who came in. We did it together. We solved it. I beat the last level. I got all of the eggs. I got all of the missing cards. I saved Kippo. I beat the game. I told the developers to suck my schlong. It was awesome. The whole end of the stream, the last 3 minutes was just and it was great. I loved it. So
what was happening at the end of the stream? Was that somebody sucking your schlong, or was that you sucking the game schlong? I'm confused about whose schlong is in that sound.
It was the developers sucking my schlong because I beat the game.
I hope they don't listen to this because you're not supposed to talk about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got the code for free too, so it was a little quid pro quo.
They gave you a code, and your payment for them giving you the code is they will suck your schlong. What a generous man.
So it was a great game. It was a great stream. I'm glad I beat it. It was kind of weighing on me. Now it's another game I can delete that I need because Final Fantasy 16 is 100 gigabytes. It's a big MFer, so I need all the space I can get.
Having beaten the game, this is sitting at 24 on our list. Do you want to move? Do you feel any desire to move it from where it is? Like, do you think it should be higher? It's sitting under Moss Book 1 and above Dyschronia. It's kind of down there in the bottom of... It's the only game... Well, no, Thumper's also guilty. It's one of those weird games that's guilty, but it's down there in the hung juries.
Yeah, I can't. I don't. I just don't think I can. In the right situation, I think it could be moved up for the general public. I can't. I can't move it up. It's got. I mean, it's another one of those games that it could have been on the PSVR with no issues, and so it's not next gen. It can't go over Tentacular. It can't go. Knock sucked. It could go above Knock, but whatever. Move on.
Next game on the list is Poker Stars VR. So me, you, and Shafe Dog played a 3-man game of poker. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Adam. It's a good, I mean, it's poker, right? So if you like Texas Hold'em poker, you might really like this. The VR element is that, like, you get accessories you can kind of play with at the table and stuff like that. So, like, I had a rubber ducky that I pretended I was betting with, and just, you have an avatar you can customize. I thought it was nice. There's, like, slot machines that you can play with, like, the virtual money you have. That was just a nice thing that I could be playing a slot machine next to me and also playing poker at the same time. I lost all my money playing slots, but that's fine. That was an interesting thing. So I do think they're doing some good stuff, but you really have to want to play poker. And the thing I can't imagine is playing this game without playing with my friends, right? I have no desire to go to a random table. Shafe Dog told me when he plays, he likes playing it. When he plays with randoms, he says it's always very, very quiet. You and I had a good time, and Shafe Dog had a good time because we were farting around, cutting up, cracking jokes. And that's great. VR is wonderful for that kind of stuff. So there's a value to it. But like you said, I think between this and Walkabout Mini Golf, I could play Walkabout Mini Golf by myself and have a good time. I could play with random people and have a good time. And I have a really good time when I'm playing with friends. So that's kind of the difference there. But it was fun. I'm glad we played it. If somebody feels compelled to play Poker Stars again, I'm not necessarily going to say no. I'd have fun with it. But I just don't get that much. It's very hard for me to enjoy poker if there's not really actually money on the line, because otherwise it's like I just don't care about. Maybe I'm not good enough at it, and that's the issue. But I just don't care.
Would you rate that above Tentacular?
Not necessarily. Like, the game is all right. It just doesn't seem well built, and maybe that's fine because it's free, right? And they're going to make it better, I'm sure. But there's like a decent amount of jank to it that's kind of odd. Like, you constantly folded on accident, like that's something that should never happen.
That one I would admit was probably on me. It's funny, I would put it above Kayak Mirage.
Really?
I think I would. I wouldn't put it above Puzzling Places, and I would definitely put it above Tetris Effect. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Neither of us have officially reviewed it, so maybe we'll just have to split it down the middle after we play it a few more times. But
we should play again, maybe when I'm not just farting around the whole time. But I think it's worth a revisit. Next on the list, I played Demio last night with J-Brat and Nat Brat. And that game is really fun, but I think I was telling you, Adam, that yes, the game is long. It took us 2 hours. It was actually a pretty exciting match because we were always on the cusp of losing, and we ended up winning. But But what I was telling you is that Demio is a game that's fun, but it's never like exceptionally fun. So if like the highest highs, your favorite game, you end up getting 10 out of 10 fun for like 30 minutes or something like that. Demio is never going to get you there. But if you like what Demio is doing, it's never going to dip down and be boring necessarily. So it's like you're constantly at like a 6 or 7, maybe 8 out of 10 level of fun, but it's never going to do more and it's never going to do less. And I think that's the downfall of Demio, is that the gameplay experience overall is relatively flat. And part of that's due to like you don't have characters getting new abilities all the time. It's really randomized, which makes the game replayable. But if you like it, you'll really like it. There's a lot to do. If you're not having an amazing time with it, then it just can kind of feel like a slog sometimes. But anyways, it was fun playing with J-Brat. It's a good game to play if you have friends and you also have a lot of time to kill.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad you played that because I did not want to play it. Thank you.
It's also incredibly glitchy now on PSVR 2 for some reason. You know how you get like cards and like new abilities? I would get cards and new abilities and then they would just be deleted from my hand before I could even use them. So I went to the store, bought a bunch of new cards so that I could use them, and then when my turn came around, I flipped my hand over and they were all gone and there was nowhere to get them back. I don't know what that's about.
I don't know. That's strange.
It was obviously a glitch, I was told, but it made the game even more difficult when we were already having a tough go at it.
Good. Well, he still won, so I don't care. Then I played Saints and Sinners. I already talked about it. I don't like it. I can see why you like it. It does some things really well, but I don't like it. Alex, can I talk about Cosmodread? I want to review this bad boy and any final words about June days?
We're coming up on, is this the last week of June days? We got 2 weeks left. Let me check the calendar. We
It's
got
like
2
a week
weeks.
and a half.
Yeah, last day of June days is going to be not this coming Friday, but the Friday after. So hey, we still got a good chunk of June days left, so I shouldn't celebrate anything. But I'm having a good time with it. There's a lot of games to play. A lot of games coming out like in the next week or two that maybe we can show off.
We need to play Pavlov. We need to play Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
I need to play
Resident Evil 8.
VR Skater. I mean, yeah, we need some of these new games to round out what we have already.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into this review of Cosmodread. You ready, Adam?
Oh, yeah. Gaming is in session, and Cosmodread is on the stand. The question is Cosmodread worth playing on the PSVR 2? The answer, I'm going to lay it on you here right now. On the first count of I'm dreading having to move, it's clear. Movement in VR has always been a big deal. Teleportation is the worst. It breaks any immersion that you feel. It's so clunky, unreliable. It's just simply not fun. Smooth turning is the way to go for the majority of the time, and Cosmodread does have both options. But there's also like a skip option that's not straight teleportation, but skip. It's some like a weird hybrid thing. The thing is, all three methods suck. Teleportation just simply doesn't work well. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you teleport where you want, and sometimes you don't. And smooth turning is so friggin' slow, you can't run away from enemies, and it's going to take you a year and a half to get to the other side of the room. Seriously, it is the slowest smooth turning and locomotion. There's no setting to increase the speed. It is just so slow. It is like you're moving slower than a turtle walking through peanut butter. It is unbearable. The very foundation of gameplay is moving, and they biffed it. They biffed it hard. And because of that, on the count of I'm dreading having to move, I find you guilty.
This is kind of I don't know. Like, I don't know much about the game, but I know a lot that you hate the way it controls. So it is controlling with the analog sticks, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do the enemies move really fast such that you have to get away from them quickly? Or
yeah. I mean, you definitely have to run sometimes, so it makes it difficult.
It is a pain when you have like smooth locomotion turned on and it's still just too slow and you feel like you should be teleporting anyway. So Budget Cuts has a very similar kind of thing going on with that too. So that's disappointing. But yeah, let's get on to the second count you got.
The second count is dreading opening that door Cosmodread is a horror-inducing game. It relies on suspense and surprise, very much like Dread Halls, the same creators. The environment here is dark, and the most tense situations are when enemies kind of surprise attack you. You're just walking around collecting ammo, information cards, and bam! Enemies show up and scare the bejeebus out of you. But in the good way, mind you, you open a door and there's a bad guy. It keeps you on edge the entire time. It makes the entire experience really fun and exciting. You never know where the enemies will be, how you can take them down, or really what is lurking around the next turn. That's why, in my opinion, horror games just work so incredibly well in VR, and Cosmodread does a very good job playing into this and leaving a pretty good experience worth the simple $15 price tag. So on the second count of dreading opening that door, I find you guilty.
When I read the count, I thought you were going to be like, the doors open too slowly, which is an issue in like some horror games.
Oh, no.
Okay. So is there like a decent amount of combat, or does the combat feel like kind of an afterthought in the game? Like Red Matter 2, the combat was an afterthought.
I think it's somewhere in between. It's not quite an afterthought, but the next stage of afterthought.
Okay.
Like it's not riddled with enemies. You don't have a ton of ammo. It's certainly not the main focus of the game. However, it's really where the challenge comes in, and it adds that sense of horror. So without it, the game would be very dull. But it's clear that it's not the forefront. It's not Resident Evil type combat, you know?
Is it better or worse than Afterlife VR in terms of combat?
Worse.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That lets me know. Yeah.
Absolutely. So moving on to the final count of dreading the PSVR and Quest feel. Now, I know I'm going to get some hate, probably from some of our Quest lovers out there, but Cosmodread feels very much like a last gen game. The graphics are dark and they're not well rendered. The shooting has no oomph to it. There is head rumble, but the fighting of the enemies, the combat is laughably dull. There are no explosions when you shoot them. You shoot the enemy, there's no knockdowns. They don't get knocked back. It's just like you shot a big sack of potatoes. On the PSVR, it's the least advanced combat I have seen by far. If you like horror games and this is your type of thing, you may not really care, but it is noticeable without a doubt, the fact that this feels like a last gen game. And I know it's only $15, and I know every game isn't going to be AAA, but honestly, at some point, why purchase a $600 headset to play a game that could be played on a $100 PSVR Quest? Nothing feels next gen about this, and because of that, on the count of dreading the PSVR and Quest feel, I find you guilty.
Yeah, this is funny, right? Because Dread Halls was a game. It was a Gear VR game that was ported to the PSVR, but it also came with like a bunch of other games because it was part of a bundle. It's funny that now you're getting a PSVR 1 quality game ported to PSVR 2 without, sounds like, noticeable enhancements. Now, I think this is a small studio, so I understand, right? Like, not every game has to knock it out of the park, but I agree with you that, like, one, there's already a lot of horror games either out or in the cooker for PSVR 2, and two, this just doesn't seem to be flexing much muscle for $15. It's not a lot of money, so like whatever. But it's just like, all right, you're like a small fish in a big pond now, and you're not doing anything to separate yourself. So, Adam, what's your final thoughts on the game?
That's right. Please all rise for the Honorable Judge Adam. The final verdict of whether Cosmodread is worth playing for the PSVR, I find you hung. If you love horror and you want more now, Cosmodread will give you a good bang for your buck. One playthrough when you know what you're doing takes about an hour and a half. You could probably get 10 hours if you really try to do everything in the game, and it will scratch that itch. It is clunky gameplay, the lack of polish, and the fact that it really feels like a last gen game makes it really hard to recommend, honestly. And in fact, I came very close just to saying it's not guilty. But I think there aren't enough horror games on the PSVR 2 that it benefited, which made it hung. But once we get 2 or 3 more horror games, this isn't going to be worth your time or your money. And that is unfortunate, but that's where we're at. Some people like the game. Some people reviewed it on the Quest for years ago, so they have this fine memory. But it's next gen, baby. It's PSVR 2. It's just here in a month isn't going to be worth your time.
Yeah, interesting point. But Adam, you got to put it on our list now. Where are you dropping that bad boy?
That's a good point. I am going to woof. Oh, woof. See, it's I'm gonna put it below Seeker in My Shadow. I'm gonna put it, gosh. It's gonna go, I think, above Zenith.
We should play Zenith for June days because I think they did an upgrade. We can see if Zenith got
Yeah,
better.
yeah, definitely.
That makes sense.
Zenith has some issues that just aren't fixable, like all the children. But yeah, I gotta put it right above there, above Zenith. So it's low on the list. I think it's warranted though. Like, I'm sorry, I don't feel bad. I do that. It's like 1 or 2 dudes in the studio, but I mean, it's my job to do this for you, the people. And is it worth your money and your time? More importantly, your time. It's just, I'm sorry, it's not. And I feel bad. It's like when you go to church and someone's like, "Oh, look at my baby." And you're like, "Well, it's ugly." You got to tell the truth. And you feel bad, but it's got to be done.
It's because you're at church and they ask you about the baby, right? If you're outside of church and they ask you about the baby, you're like, "That baby is adorable."
Exactly.
They show you in church like, "Your baby's ugly."
I'm not lying in church. I'm like, "Oh, hey, he looks like Franklin Roosevelt without hair."
All right. Thank you for the review, Adam. Adam, if they had ported Persistence from the PSVR 1 and they didn't change anything about it, what would you, or if Cosmodread is on PSVR 1 with the same setup, what would you rate better, Cosmodread or the Persistence?
I mean, Persistence is just simply a better game. Like, in every facet. So yes, gameplay, I mean, definitely the Persistence.
All right. That tells me what I need to know. I was hoping Cosmodread would be like a diet version of the Persistence I could enjoy on PSVR 2. Sounds like that's not the case. I should just keep my PSVR 1 around.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's it for segment 1. We got the review, June Days recap. Up next, we got a whole slew of new games were announced in the past week, and we're going to cover those for you. So stick with us, and we will see you after the break.
We are back with Play PSVR 2, the podcast. And Alex, I don't like these people who just always brag about their one night stands. I've got 2 nightstands, one on either side of the bed. Am I right?
That is a good joke, Adam. Except I don't even have 2 nightstands. I got nothing. I'm sleeping on a floor right now because we're moving to a new house.
Oh, well, yeah, by yourself. Freaking loser. I think the first joke was better. That one I looked up during the break.
That one was good.
Just so much sugar, and it made this much more bearable.
So now you got to drink the whole thing.
Oh, wow. Ooh, really? Well, I only have 2 glasses left. Let's do it. But what I'm most excited for, dude, there are so many game announcements. I couldn't believe it. Just every day, it was like Rocky was up against my VR testicles and pop, pop, pow, uppercut, and oh. And you just kept sending announcement after announcement. I was like, Alex, I can't take anymore. And you just didn't care. You kept sending them. So I've watched the trailers for all these. You are going to tell us what the game is about. I'm going to write down what my hype level is. You are going to have to guess it, and beans will be dealt. So you know what games I like. I feel like this is a favorable game for you.
Well, okay. Yeah, I think after the first couple, I'll have a good idea. We're going to do, how many games do we have? I need to get the number of the list. Halfway through, we'll tally up how many I've gotten right. And if I've gotten more than half right, you eat a bean. Otherwise, I eat a bean. I think we have, something like 20 games. So after 10 games, then we'll go through and see how many I've gotten right.
We have 20 games?
Yeah, 20 games in this list right now.
I only looked at, we have a little spreadsheet here with all of our games. I only looked at the blue ones.
Yeah, there's 20 blue ones.
No, there's not.
Did you not scroll down? There were more.
Oh. Oh, no, I did not. Okay, well, I reviewed most of them, or I watched trailers for most of them. Let's just go. Let's keep it going.
I'll read you descriptions and stuff like that. So many game announcements happened, right? The PlayStation Showcase happened like 2 weeks ago, and people were disappointed thinking, oh, this is all Sony's going to give us. Well, it turns out, I guess Sony wasn't necessarily, but the publishers were saving these announcements for other showcases. So we get the Future Games Showcase. We got Summer Games Fest. We got another showcase I forget about. Then Upload VR, those guys, they put on their own VR showcase, and a lot of stuff got announced then. And then just in the meantime, Sony's publishing the PlayStation blog, and I'm wondering why weren't these games in the showcase they did. Regardless, a lot of games are coming out. All the people worried about, Sony not having support, games not being on the VR, that's not a problem we're going to have.
I have a concern, but I'll wait. I'll wait until there's a good break in the action. I have a concern.
All right. A concern?
A concern.
A concern. All right. So, first game. This isn't a new game announcement, but they dropped a trailer, and I think they dropped a release date, did they not? It is this month it's coming out. VR Skater, finally being published by Perp Games. But they released a new trailer for the game, and it showed that, yes, you're not just in a straight line. You are actually moving around the environment on a skateboard, a la Tony Hawk in an environment, which was my biggest thing. I thought this was going to be like an on-rails experience, and you're just jumping and stuff. They showed them doing cool stuff like jumping in front of a train that's passing by, jumping over a train, jumping from, places where you have options to jump and land on like a nearby roof or go all the way down and start grinding a rail. It looked really fun. Adam, did you watch the latest trailer for VR Skater?
Yep. Yeah, I did.
I personally am looking forward to it. I guess if one of us reviews it, it's going to be me. Adam, what I'm going to guess your hype score. Have you written your hype score down for it? The biggest thing I wanted to talk about this on was just the fact that we have a release date for it, 6/21. So here in like 4 days, VR Skater is going to be coming out. So we don't have to wait long for it.
Yeah. Okay, I have my number down, and the thing is, what do you think? We've already talked about this game, so this is a little unfair, but
it's
go
a good
ahead.
Calibrator. Yeah, I have no idea what you're working with on the scale. I'm going to say this is a hard 5 out of 10 for you.
Okay, so as a calibration, I think that's fair. Resident Evil 4 is a 10. Okay, so that's like AAA horror Resident Evil level. Like, that is the best VR game I've ever played. That is hype level 10.
And then Tetris Effect DLC would be like a 1 out of 10 for you, right?
I mean, it's already over, so it's a 0 out of 10.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you wouldn't be excited about it. So,
yeah, exactly. I'm not. So you give it a 5?
So our beef calibration score for VR Skater is going to be 5. I think it's a 5 out of 10. So if it's a 6 or a 4, then you got to eat a bean. Or if it's a 5, you got to eat a bean. Yeah.
This is too easy. It's going to be too easy. It's a 6.
A 6. Okay, you don't have to eat a bean yet, right? Okay, that's
correct.
1 point.
Not yet. Not
1 point
yet.
for me.
Okay.
Keep these bad boys tallied. I'll let you know the last game before we dole out the beans. Next game is Until You Fall. This game is coming out at any point. We don't know exactly when it's coming out, but it's supposed to come out on the 6th of June. I guess it's just kind of waiting in approval limbo. Just in case you don't know, Adam, Until You Fall is a hack and slash roguelike video game in VR. In it, you play as a rune knight who has to fight back the calamity. It's got a lot of neon colors, a lot of nice music, 80s vibes, kind of like Mike Tyson's Punch Out type type gameplay where you understand the pattern and you slash your sword or you block their attack. Adam, you didn't play this. I played it on PSVR 1. It's got great reviews. You didn't play it at all. I don't know if you watched the trailer for it or not. I think
I
your
did.
hype level. Okay, I think your hype level here is going to be honestly, I think it's going to be like a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. I put a 5.
A big old fiver. Okay. Okay. What
Okay,
are
I
your
had a 5.
thoughts?
You're right. I'm not super hyped. This looks like a game that I'm gonna talk about it, and I'll go ahead and address it. A lot of these games, all kind of, I know they're different quote unquote games, but they all look like the same game. And this is one of it. Looks like that middle tier quality where there's nothing truly unique about it. There's no next level metaphors or meaning or complexity. It's just like, hey, middle of the road studio for video games made a VR game. That's exactly what this looks like. Might be okay. I mean, I kind of like some of the gameplay of Zenith, and this looks like maybe a better version of Zenith without the kids. So that's why it's a 5. It's not lower. Could be something, but yeah, middle of the road.
In my experience, this is, if I remember correctly, this is kind of an on rails thing. So it's like if you like the sword fighting of Zenith, imagine they made the sword fighting of Zenith really good and engaging, and then they took everything else out of Zenith. But like the part you enjoyed of Zenith, they made that really good, and they made the environment really nice. That's what I'm looking forward to in this game. That I don't have this precision sword fighting trying to do that with the move controller.
I bet if I'm on rails, that's gonna hurt, because what I like about Zenith is I was moving around in my room because of the room scale, and I was worse because your movement reaction time is slower than pushing buttons. But man, it made it a lot more fun. So I don't know. Okay, let's move on.
All right, moving on. We got Pixel Ripped 1989. This is the first one that came out. So I could be wrong. From what I've gathered, all of the Pixel Ripped games are coming out for PSVR at some point or another. Pixel Ripped 1989 was the first one. This is the one that came out on PSVR. I reviewed it. I really, really enjoyed it. It's not the longest game. We're talking like 2 or 3 hours, but it's a game where you have like a Game Boy. You're in class. You're in different situations. You have to play this Game Boy using the buttons on the controller, while also having to like manage things that's happening, like the teacher coming at you and stuff like that. This is expected to get a port for the PSVR 2 as well, which is not going to do anything game breaking wonderful for it. But it's just nice to be able to play this game on the PSVR 2. So Adam, your hype levels for Pixel Rip 1989 specifically.
Can we cover all of the Pixel Rips? I mean, for the most part, come on, they're going to be close to the same thing.
They're close to the same thing, but what they're going for is slightly different. Like, this is based on 80s style games, and then you do VR stuff playing these 80s style games. 1978 came out, that's being ported to PSVR 2 as well. That game's focusing on more of the older era games. This is actually 1978 is the newest one. It just came out for PSVR 2. This one was published by Atari. It's made for PSVR 2, so you don't have any of that lackluster stuff happening of PSVR 1 port. I've heard really good things about it. I haven't played it yet. And then Pixel Rip 1995 was the sequel to 1989. That one's focusing on like SNES era games, but similar kind of stuff. I'm excited to play that again. Probably going to wait for the port. I bought it on PSVR 1. Sounds like it's not going to be a free upgrade. Hopefully there's some kind of discounted upgrade I could do. Otherwise, I'll just be buying it again because these are all good games. I'm happy they're all coming to PSVR 2. But Adam, for the Pixel Ripped franchise, you haven't played any of them, but you've seen some trailers and stuff. I hate to be repetitive. I got to put your hype level at around. I think it's better than VR Skater for you. I want to put it around a 6.
Dang it! Nailed me.
Nailed it. Okay.
Nailed it. A 6 exactly. Okay, you're up 2-1. Bob Saget.
So what are your thoughts then on Pixel Ripped? Like why a 6? Why not higher? Why not lower?
It's just, at least it's unique. I don't know. It's just something that I haven't played them. I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't get my gears turning.
It's a hard game to appreciate when you're watching it and seeing footage. When you play it, I think you like when games do weird stuff, right? You liked virtual reality. You like when games do something in VR that can only be done in VR, and this is certainly that kind of game, or these are certainly those kind of games. So I think you'll probably be surprised at how much you enjoy it, barring any kind of like glitchy stuff that might happen that takes you out of the experience. Um, so I think you'll look back if you play these or one of these three, you'll look back and say like, yeah, maybe I should be more hyped. I'm really excited about it. If I had to put a hype score for 1989, I'd probably put it around like 7 or 8. And all three, I'm just glad they're all there. They're wonderful games being made. Very, very happy this is in the library. But the next game on the list is Survive, SURV1 V3. Don't know what's up with the naming there, unless 1v3 means it's like one person versus 3 people. This is a game that is trying to go for that After the Fall type stuff, where it's like a group of people, 4-player co-op, fighting zombies. It just came out. The reviews, I mean, this was a PSVR 1 game. Now it's on PSVR 2. The reviews are saying, the fidelity's not great, but the gunplay is pretty good. The fighting is pretty good, but it is another zombie shooter. The environment seemed to be, people don't seem too disappointed in the environment and just the gameplay in general. Adam, you watched a trailer for it. How are you feeling about Oh no, I guess I have to guess your hype level.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna tell you before. Yeah.
So I did not think twice about this game when I saw it on PSVR 1. It came out before PSVR 2 came out. Now that it's on PSVR 2, I'm thinking again that I might really enjoy this game because it does seem like a better version of Arizona Sunshine. Arizona Sunshine, you and I would probably agree, had a decent concept there. You go through a level and fight zombies. I know you hate it because it's janky.
Yeah, I see.
But you go through, you fight zombies, right? You can do it in co-op. That's fun. Pick up new guns, shoot them. They got big free-roaming maps. People say it's almost kind of an open world thing. It feels like what you're looking for in Saints and Sinners. So like decrease the graphical quality of Saints and Sinners, but then up the like gameplay action and like shooting guns and blowing up zombies. So I want to put this at like a 7 for you on the hype scale of if you played it. And maybe I'm way overestimating there.
I gave it a 3.
A 3. Okay.
Another zombie game. This is where I mentioned earlier, another game that looks exactly the same. Who cares? Pavlov has zombies. Saints and Sinners has zombies. Arizona Sunshine's going to have zombies. This has zombies. Everything has effing zombies. Why are there so many zombie games? No one cares about zombies. They're not real. Give me a real situation. You ever watch that movie called Creep? Have you ever watched that?
No.
It's about a dude who was on Craigslist and a guy had terminally ill cancer. He wanted to make a video for his son just as like a lasting, like, here's the things I want to teach you, son, in my cabin. So the dude is going to get paid to do it. Turns out the whole story was fake. The guy's a totally freak show. He kills him. Could happen in real life. And it was such a good movie because you could see that scenario happening. I can't see effing zombies happening. Stop making zombie games. Dang it. Now my mic came off, so I probably sound like crap.
No, you sound good, but
I don't want zombie games. Stop making them. This is not unique at all, Alex. Free roaming, big effing deal. If you look at the trailer, all it is you and some buddies aimlessly shooting zombies. I hate after the fall, right? Because you're together, but the whole point is just to get to the end of the level. Who cares? This is going to be a worse version of that with zombies. No thanks. That should be lower than a 3. I don't know if you could pay me to play this piece of crap. It's going to suck. I'm going to be playing Sea Smash or Crossfire Sierra Squad.
You made your point, Adam. No, but it's the idea, that Creep that you talked about, that documentary, that would be an amazing VR game. What if you played a VR game you didn't know going into it? And it's like you are a director and you have a camera and you have to film this guy, right? And that's what you do in VR is you hold the camera up and you film this documentary, right? And then it slowly devolves into this guy trying to kill you, but you have the camera because you have to document it so people. That would be an amazing VR game, right?
Yeah.
Imagine Intruders, hide and seek, but instead you're like having to film. That's what your hand's doing. That's the premise of the game. That would be so good. And like the guy doesn't want to get caught doing creepy stuff on camera, so like you have to try to be filming him all the time while trying to figure out how to get out. So that oh man, I love this idea.
That's a good idea. Speaking of another good idea, next game.
Very similar to what we're talking about. Phasmophobia. This is a game. Now, I will say, I looked up some more information on it. I've seen trailers. I've heard talk about it. It's been out for a while on like Steam VR, PC VR. Its rating on Steam is a 10 out of 10 from people who've played it. This game, there's a bunch of trailers watching it. Some of the trailers are better than others. The one trailer I watched was just somebody playing a level, and it looked absolutely horrifying, and nothing happened in the trailer. It's also got multiplayer. So I could be the game is you're a ghost hunter, right? You're going into a paranormal investigator. You have tools to try to detect ghosts for various things, UV lights, ectoplasm detectors, whatever it is, and you're trying to, free these ghosts or something like that. But it's multiplayer, and I think you can like be the ghost and mess with people and stuff like that too. I'm almost too scared to play this game. My hype is very high for this game. It's a 10 out of 10 on Steam. My hype is probably 10 out of 10 for PSVR 2. Adam, I want to put your hype level at, because you're less enthusiastic than me. I want to put your hype level at 8 out of 10 for this.
Got me again. 8 out of 10.
Boom, boom, boom.
Listen, I think we may have watched the same. I watched the PlayStation trailer, and this was an amazing trailer. People need to, marketing teams use this as a lesson. It was, I think, 2 minutes and 50 seconds of nothing but someone walking around a house with a flashlight. Nothing happened. You didn't see anything.
Yeah.
And it was one of the scariest trailers I have seen. Because
he was like dropping his tools. Yeah.
And you have that flashlight. The suspense, that is what eats you. You know something is there, but you don't know if you're going to see it. It's better that's why I like Resident Evil, right? Because sometimes when these games like Afterlife VR, it's kind of a scary environment, but I know, let's say in the next room, I know there's an enemy there. So I can brace myself. But when you don't know if there's an enemy or not, that's scarier than if you know there's an enemy. It was an amazing trailer. At first I was like, well, this is stupid. Where's the action? And then from about 40 minutes to a minute or 40 seconds to a minute and a half, I was like, dang, that's good. Holy. And then the last 30 seconds or a minute, I was like, holy, well done. Yeah. I'm pumped. I didn't know it was multiplayer. They didn't say that on the trailer. So that I'm gonna make you poop yourself.
It's I love that trailer because it's just straight gameplay for like 2 minutes, right? Like you're just watching somebody play the game, and the chatter and the guy from like the base is saying like, okay, pull out this tool, use this tool. Your vitals aren't looking good. You got to get out of there right now. And you're like dropping your flashlight and stuff, and the lights are going. Oh man, it looked so good, so scary. I don't know if I can play it. I'll get too spooked playing it, but I gotta play it because it's gonna be one of the best VR games ever. Yeah, awesome.
We gotta move faster, dude. We got so many games.
We got a lot of games. Sorry. Next, The Wanderer, one of the most heralded PSVR 1 games of last generation, is now getting a full-on update, remaster, whatever you want to call it. It's being released as Wanderer: The Fragments of Fate for PSVR 2. And I saw a trailer for The Wanderer on PSVR 1, and it looked okay. It looked like just kind of a good adventure game, kind of like The Room VR, or even like Red Matter, like that kind of gameplay. Look for objects and solve clues, solve puzzles that way, which is okay. I watched the trailer for this new one, and it looked awesome. It looked like something like Horizon Call of the Mountain, but with a better story. You're like time traveling to different points. There was one point where you get transported to the moon. You're an astronaut on the moon, and there's a dead astronaut in front of you, and you turn around and you see yourself as like the only astronaut. It looks so freaking good. The only downside is I bought Wanderer expecting there to be a PSVR 2 upgrade. I don't think it's going to be an upgrade. I think you just got to buy the second one, which from what I've heard, like some of the reviews say this is the best VR game of all time. I'm through the roof on this.
It's from PSVR without parole. I don't trust them.
Okay. Yeah. They're kind of their own hype crew. Still, I've heard good things. That guy's Will told me it was great. Other of our listeners have told me it's a great game. I feel bad putting it off for so long, so I'm super pumped about it. Adam, did you watch the trailer for this?
I did.
Okay. You're less excited about this kind of stuff than I am, or maybe you're trying to mute it. I think your hype is going to be 7.
It's too easy. We need like it's an 8.
It's an 8. All right.
A +1 it's too much.
Okay, for round 2, we'll take away the +1. Okay.
Oh, see, that's too unfair. It's just tough. It's tough. I don't know. Okay, so I think the trailer did a good job. I like the idea that you have multiple stories going at once. You can change who you are. It was a really good trailer. I like the concept. If the execution is as good as people say it will be or is, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a playable one. It's an 8 out of 10. I like it.
Yeah, the animation looked great just from what little you saw. Also, the guy was like looking in the mirror and his eye tracking was working on his character's eyes so you could see where he's looking in the mirror and stuff like that. That was awesome.
Did you
That's
notice
awesome
he was
looking.
always looking down?
Always looking down at his hang down. I was looking down too, so I almost didn't catch his eyes.
Yeah.
Next game on the list, Tiger Blade. This kind of swung under the radar on a PlayStation blog post. This is a Korean studio putting out a game. And it looks like another. It looks like Sirento. Looks like one of those games where it's action, sword fighting, shooting, but it looks like a very good version of it. It says it's highly replayable, scoring and ranking system, online leaderboards, haptic feedback, nonstop action. Um, I do like the idea of one of these kind of games, and it's not super Japanese, not super Chinese. It's got this Korean aesthetic. It's got the Korean music. Sounds like the game is really putting in some Korean hip hop vibes. Like the gameplay is rhythm, not rhythm based, but the rhythm plays into it in some capacity. Um, Personally, putting this at like a 6 or something like that. Adam, for you, I want to say because we've seen games like this before, I'm going to say sitting at a 5.
Nah, 2.
A 2.
Dude, this is again a game that looks just like every other freak. Nothing makes it look unique. So boring. I barely made it through the trailer. It sucked. I think the gameplay is going to be boring. I don't really like the idea for it. It's a step up from Fruit Ninja. No thanks. Next game.
Oh man. All right, this will be the last one before we break it for the second section. Uh, the Seventh Guest VR. We knew about this a little bit. They showed more trailers. It's being like totally. Apparently a big deal that they're fully remaking it for VR now, as opposed to just doing a little bit of extra oomph work to make it look good. I have the release date here some way. I got to pull that up. I don't have the release date. Okay, Seventh Guest VR, an adventure game. They have some interesting things. Here we go. This looks like another game that's just like Invisible Hours. You remember Invisible Hours, right, Adam?
I do, yes.
Where you're watching this stuff play out in front of you, well acted scenarios, and then you solve puzzles to kind of get you through the story there. Probably a really well written story. Um, I loved Invisible Hours, one of my favorite games of all time. I don't know that this is going to have the cojones that Invisible Hours did in terms of writing, but I do think this could be a really good game. My hype for this, but all that said, my hype's sitting at around a 6. Adam, you didn't love Invisible Hours like I did. I think you're probably throwing this at like a 3 out of 10.
A 4.
Ooh, the +or -1 got me there. There we go. Yes.
It always does. That means you get the win.
And I'll take the win. I'll take the win, and you're going to take a bean, Adam. Give it a spin, and let's see what you're going to be eating here.
F you. You suck. This game is garbage. It's too easy. Everything for you is a 7 or above, and everything for me is a 6. And it's either going to be a 7 or a 5. Oh, I lucked out, though. It's a berry blue or it's a toothpaste.
That's okay. All right, well, eat it. You need toothpaste. All right, your breath is kicking. I can smell it already.
We gotta move.
We gotta move.
My dude, this is hard as a rock.
My beans have been sitting out for ages. Mine are hard too.
It's berry though.
Okay, very good. I'm very happy for you, Adam. All right, we'll kick it down.
Next.
No more plus or minus. We'll just do. I gotta guess.
Yeah,
the
I
score.
feel like it's too hard.
It's okay. You already ate a bean. We move on to the next one. Hard
Okay,
bean gives me a hard game. Next game is Hubris. Hubris is coming out this month. It's coming out 6/22, so next week. Now, this game looks really good in trailers. The reviews are not that great. The initial feedback was not that great. However, the developers said they're incorporating all that feedback, fixing all that stuff. And the most recent trailer I watched looked great, looked very good. But taking that aside, the initial reactions for the game were not that great. My hype level is at a 5 out of 10. You don't follow this stuff as much as I do. I don't think, Adam. So I think your hype, you're probably also at a 5 out of 10.
4.
I was gonna say 4, but I wanted to. Oh my goodness.
I thought you were gonna say 4, and I was like, yeah, he's got it. It's like a really dumbed down bad version of Farpoint.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm not for that. There's no aim controller. So no thanks. I mean, I'll play it if we get a code and if we review it. But honestly, if it's a $30 game and it's between me buying that for $30, I'm not. I don't know it's $30. I'm guessing. But yeah, I'm not buying that.
Okay. Yeah, I had the same feeling. It looked like a lesser version of Farpoint, but I can be in the mood for that, right? Farpoint was a great game in my opinion. So if I could play just like a diet version of Farpoint, that would be enough to, make me feel like I had a good time. Next game on the list is Arashi, Castles of Sin Final Cut. This is put out by Skydance Interactive. These are the same people that did Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. So we know at least in terms of development, technical ability, VR games, they can handle it. Game design might be the question you have there. Um, this is a game that came out on PSVR 1. Didn't seem to make a splash, right? I didn't hear much about it. I think it came out late in the life cycle. We certainly didn't investigate it too much. Now it's being brought to PSVR 2. We have another chance to see what's going on here. Sure, they're updating the graphics. They're making everything better. I didn't see the trailer for this. Maybe I did. I don't know. Looks like there's archery. Looks like there's sword fighting. Looks like there's stealth. Almost looks like a VR version of Ghosts of Tsushima, which you and I both really liked. If it Knowing that Skydance is making it, they did great with Walking Dead. That makes me feel better. The graphics look great for it. My hype's probably around somewhere like a 6, maybe a 7. I'm going to put you, because this also kind of looks like a lot of other games, I want to put you at like a 4.
Flipped it on you. I'm at
What?
an 8.
An 8? What did you
And
see?
and it
This is
would
the
not take much for this to be a 9. I held back because we just don't know enough about it. Ghost of Tsushima is probably a top 3 all-time favorite game, if not top 2. I don't know what about it. I love it. And you're right. This looks just like it, but in VR, the only thing I hesitate about is like, how is the execution going to work? But if it is similar, I don't expect Ghost of Tsushima quality in this VR game. But if it's something that can give me that similar feeling, holy crap, I'm going to be over the moon. So, man, it really does. It looks like Ghost of Tsushima, which maybe they're doing that, tricking us. I don't know. We got to move on. I'm hyped for it. At least an 8. It potentially could get to that Resident Evil level.
That's your most hyped game on this list so far. So that's good to hear. I'm glad you're getting
I
excited.
have a
now,
couple
Adam.
of them that are 8s.
Okay, but it might be 9 would be your most hyped game, but okay. Next game on the list. I don't know if you. This is. I think we're dropped off the list. You stopped watching trailers. Hellsweeper VR. We've talked about this. They announced the release date, or at least release window. Let me pull that up here. Hellsweeper VR coming out September 2023. So very, very soon for us. This is the Vertigo Games people, but it from the makers of Sirento, which feels awesome. This is the same kind of thing, like almost like a Doom VR, but with melee. What's your hype level, Adam? Mine's sitting pretty high. We're talking about a 7 or 8 for me. I'm going to say your hype level.
Wait. I haven't written it down. I'm trying to. Yep, I got it.
Okay, I'm going to say you're sitting at 6.
5.
Ah, so close. I've got none of these so
average, far. Yeah, I'll let you review it. I could care less.
Oh, it looks this and Undead Citadel. I get them confused because they look very similar, but they both look very good, in my opinion.
Okay, we gotta do speed rounds. We're running out of time.
This next game is the biggest surprise for me. This is Bad Dreams. It just kind of popped up out of nowhere. I don't even think it was in a showcase. I watched the trailer. This looked like maybe the scariest game shown, but also the most mind-bending game shown. It's a horror game, but you have fighting, you have puzzles. It says you have hard choices. I can't remember exactly what it was about the trailer, just all the weird and wild stuff. It looked like what Switchback wants to be. Looked extremely unsettling, but also very fun. I'm really excited about this based off the trailer. 8 or 9 out of 10. For you like these scary games, you like the weird stuff. I'm going to say this is an 8.
I had 8 and I changed it to a 9.
What?
Listen, I love this because they're taking all of people's fears and putting it into a game. And just like the Wanderers, you're jumping from scenario, I'm assuming from dream to dream.
Yeah.
Oh my, fantastic concept. Oh yeah, I'm hyped, dude. It not Resident Evil because I don't know enough info yet, but it's up there. It's good. A toss.
Toss. I think you'd be excited about this game. Did you watch a trailer for this one?
I did.
This game sounds stupid. Toss, you're a gorilla, you throw bananas or something like that. You got to get bananas, but it looks like To the Top for me. Like you're grabbing stuff, platforming, VR platforming. You're grabbing stuff. It looked like To the Top for me. I got excited for that aspect. I want to play To the Top again. So I have my hype sitting at like a 7. But it also looks like a kid's game, which turns you off typically. I'm going to say for you, it's a 5.
3. What are you talking about? This game looks like garbage. Hot trash.
Really?
What?
The gameplay looks like To the Top.
It doesn't look like To the Top at all. Are we talking about the same game where he had monkey bars and he was like,
yeah, you're platforming around using your hands. That's what To the Top is all about.
Stupid. Next game, paint the town red. What the heck?
So this game, I thought it was made by the developers of Just in Time because it has that same graphical style, but everybody does that Minecraft-ish. But it's almost like that mixed with Drunken Bar Fight, where you're like in a room and guys are swarming you, trying to take you down, and you just got to like obliterate them with machine guns, explosives, stuff like that. The reviews on Steam for this game are like through the roof. People freaking love it. There's a flat version of the game out. People freaking love that. So because of that and what I liked about Just in Time Incorporated, I got Paint the Town Red. For me, I'm hyped at around a 7 or an 8 there. For you, if you just watched the trailer and didn't really look into it much further, I'd say you probably got like a 4.
2.
A 2.
Complete garbage. Looks stupid. Yeah, I'm not even gonna play this. It looks dumb. Take everything you like about Just in Time. Actually, no. Take the worst things about Just in Time Incorporated and Drunken Bar Fight, put them together. This is what you got. No way. Madison VR?
Madison VR. This is a game. This was called scientifically the scariest game of all time. Some group did a scientific study. I guess they looked at like heart rate or something like that, or they studied what scares people, and they made a game based on it. Based on that alone, and the feedback I've heard from people who've played the game, they freaking love it in flat version. Now it's in VR. I'm terrified of this one, just like Phasmophobia. My hype for this one is sitting at like an 8 or 9, just because I know it's going to be great. Adam, I think you're probably also sitting at an 8.
You got it.
Finally got 1, yeah.
The thing is, here, it looks like Transference. It looks like a longer, hopefully better version of Transference. It looks just like Transference, which was a good game. It was just, wasn't whatever. Crossfire Sierra Squad, we've already talked about it. You know about it. Unfortunately, I don't know. You may know.
They released new footage of somebody actually playing through a level. It looked awesome. They have a realism mode with no HUD, so you have to keep track of how many bullets you shot and stuff like that. The gameplay looked great, looked really involving. Graphics look great. My hype for this is going up and up and up. I got an 8. I'm going to put you at an 8 as well.
You're on fire.
All right. Next one here on the list. I don't think I put it on the list for you. Dyschronia Episode 3. The final chapter of Dyschronia comes out next month. A lot of people are looking forward to this. I still can't get Dyschronia 2 to work. So, I don't know. I'm hyped that this is coming out, but because I haven't played Dyschronia 2 and you haven't played any of it, I think your hype for this is sitting at a 1.
Oh, 3 in a row.
Yeah,
oh,
baby.
My gosh.
All right. Next game, Gazlers VR. This is a game that's apparently been in development. They were trying to make multiplayer work, and they decided to forget about it. Let's just make this a single-player on-rails shooter game. Looks like a kid game. Looks like Shooty Fruity or something like that. Maybe it works really well. I'm not sure. I'm not too excited. My hype's at like a 3. Adam, I'm going to put you at a 2.
It was a 4. Looked like... I'm just going by your description. I didn't watch it. I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know.
All right. Then the last game we're going to talk about, Barbaria, got announced. This is a VR combat builder mashup. Attack other players, build defenses, and equip your team as you complete to be the mightiest in Barbaria. Has very positive reviews on the Steam store right now. It's coming to PSVR 2. Adam, I think you're going to like this. The trailer looks really good. The gameplay looks really fun in the trailer. I think you're going to like this because the idea of a builder/combat game reminds me of, I just forgot the name of the game. What was that Super Nintendo game? ActRaiser.
Yes.
ActRaiser VR. If this game is ActRaiser VR, I'd say your hype is going to be at an 8 out of 10. Because we don't know if it's actually ActRaiser VR and you didn't watch the trailer, I'm going to say based off my description, your hype is at a 4 out of 10.
5.
And
Close.
that was our last game, which means I certainly have to eat a bean. So go ahead and spin that. I'll choke it down, and then we'll finish
You
out this
actually
episode.
made it close at the end, though.
Yeah.
Because you did well. Oh, it's a birthday cake or dirty dishwater.
Ooh, neither one of those are acceptable.
Yes. Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Let's
Adam, while I chew on this, you talk about what your favorite game coming up is going to be.
Dude, it's gotta be. It has to be one of these horror games. It's gotta be Madison
Dishwater.
VR. What is
Dishwater.
it?
Dishwater.
A dishwater. Yeah, it's nasty too. It stays with you. You're screwed all night. It's gotta be Madison VR or Bad Dreams. I mean, or the Arashi thing. It all depends on execution. I love horror games. Other than Resident Evil, I would argue we don't truly have a real horror game, so we need one. Switchback let us down. It's time to rise up.
Yeah, there's no way we're getting out of 2023 with uncrapped pants because we got a lot of very scary games coming out. Hopefully, these other games are just fun that aren't scary. But that is it, Adam. That's it for episode of 123 of Play PSVR 2, the podcast. We're halfway through June, fellas. We're halfway through June days, and that means you still got plenty of time to saddle up, jack in, and watch. We want you to watch us play with ourselves, play with each other, and maybe, even if you time it right, we're going to play with you. We'll be streaming every night for you, probably at around 9-10 Central, Jim, on our streaming channel, youtube.com/playpsvr. But it doesn't stop there. We have content being pumped and dumped weekly for you on our main squeeze of a channel on YouTube. It is called Gaming is in Session. You should come by, bring your family, bring some popcorn, and judge us while we judge these games for you. Subscribe to us also so everybody knows and their auntie knows that you've been watching us. And leave a comment so we know it was you. That's it for Play PSVR 2, the podcast. For Adam, I am Alex. Thank you for listening to Play PSVR 2, the podcast, where virtual reality is our reality.
Blammo!